He's got a voice like solid gold and a twinkle in his eye. And keeping that eye firmly placed on our parliamentarian buddies is Tony Amos. We welcome Tony and the weekly political roundup.
Tony Amos.
Hello, Jared. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see the big wide world.
Where has the year gone, Tony?
It's gone whooshka. It's just gone, mate. It's just zapped by, hasn't it, eh?
Tony, I think we've got 4 more buzzers before the year ends.
Bzzz.
4 more buzzers. What's the buzz this week, Tony?
Well, Jared, the buzz this week, it's been established that for every male action, there's a female overreaction. That's the buzz.
Congratulations.
Isn't that the truth?
Anyway, Tony, speaking about truth and untruths and falsehoods and all sorts of things, what about politics, Tony? You're here for politics.
Yes, Jared. Our weekly look at the oddballs and misfits, the users and abusers, the yings and the yangs, the twits and the twats of public service we proudly call our politicians.
Now, Tony, let's talk about overreaction.
You're not talking about that little vent of steam coming out of that mountain in the Central Plateau.
Oh.
Jared, it's a lot of brouhaha about a little laha. Truly, I mean, I could not believe the overreaction of some media, particularly television, particularly 1 or 2 channels, who did, as you say, overreact to that natural event.
And I thought that too, and then the Mayor of Taupo came out with that in the news. Did you see that, Tony?
Good Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
He summed it up, didn't he?
Yes.
It's part of what happens when there's geothermal activity. But no, the news teams, especially on the state-owned television channel, they were there in numbers, weren't they? Doing live reports. And of course tonight, you know where they are tonight, Jared?
No, I
that
don't.
Same television crew is down at the waterfront for another big natural event. They're going to cross live, they'll be filming it live tonight. The tide's coming in. And they're going to say for 6 hours because there will be another natural event happen, the tide will go out. Oh yes, it's big news around the old state-owned television channels.
It'll have to be covered.
It'll need to be covered. A bit like the Labor Party conference. Remember that about 10 days ago?
Yes.
Wasn't that a state of affairs, eh? What a to-do. And David Cunliffe, he thought he was up for it. Of course, he didn't officially challenge, but he thought he was up for it. David Shearer said no, he's not up for it. I mean, this is the Labor Party in disarray. So what happens? Cunliffe has been ostracised. He's been stripped of his shadow cabinet responsibilities. He's been relegated to the backbenches. And this is so that David Shearer, the other David, can show some strength and leadership. Well, this is absurd stuff, mate. This is just folly. This is pathetic nonsense. If there's a time that Shearer should go, it was yesterday. Truly, I mean, the last time in my memory something like this happened was a while ago in Australia. And a chap called Paul Keating challenged Bob Hawke for the leadership. And at the first attempt, of course, he didn't succeed. And Hawke did that to Keating, sent him to the back benches, parked himself up the back. What happened? Keating came back, rolled Hawke and became the Prime Minister of Australia. And that's what's probably going to happen with Cunliffe and Shearer.
Now, we were going to talk about it last week, Tony, about our future king and his lovely lady visiting New Zealand, but we have heard they've arrived home safely in England.
They're home safe and sound. Yes, they've returned home to Mummy and the children, and their respective children, of course, their families, and their comfortable matrimonial bed. And I'm sure, as you know, that's always a good place to get. Home to your own bed's always a good call, isn't it, eh? But I thought it was appropriate that good Prince Charles, I mean, he's a baby boomer, a bit like us, mate.
Yes.
You know, good Prince Charles and his love, and his true love. I mean, people can have their own opinion about Camilla, but Camilla is Charlie's true love. And he hers. So they're a well-matched couple. And here they are as part of the 60th anniversary celebration of his mum's reign, coming out around the colonies. Had a good time. They were pretty relaxed as well. And I've got to say, because of his nickname, I thought it was wonderfully appropriate that he was a guest of Wingnut Films. Because I think his Obama-like ears were well represented in that circumstance, you know. And look, again, people can have their opinion about Bonnie Prince Charlie as well, but he seems to be a good guy. And this nonsense about leapfrogging him from his mum to his son for the monarchy is wrong. If you're going to have a monarchy, you've got to let it cascade in a natural form.
Now, Tony, we haven't got much more time, but we need to mention about our list MPs.
Oh, the dreaded list MPs, the members of parliament that most people haven't heard of and certainly nobody voted for, but they are there. They are there for a good reason, to entertain us. And this particular story is about a list MP, a bloke getting on a bit, enjoying the fruits of his efforts and his work. He went out and bought himself a nice new motor car, a sports car. And there he was in his brand new sports car, and he drove out of the showroom and he put the hood down and he got onto the motorway and he steamed off down the motorway at a great speed with the wind blowing through the bits of his hair that were left, just having a good time. He couldn't believe how good he felt. You know, it was a revisit to his youth. Looked in the rearview mirror, and here's the blue and red lights flashing, and the siren as well. So he pulled over, and crikey dick. And the traffic officer took his hat off, and he said, look, sir, he said, it's almost the end of my shift. He said, if you can give me a good excuse, one I've never heard before, about why you were speeding, I'll let you off. He said, look, officer, 3 years ago, I was married, and then my wife ran off with a traffic policeman. And when I saw the flashing lights behind me, I thought it was him trying to bring her back. That's politics.